For just one moment, my child, stop praying. Yes, you heard me correctly. Right now, I want you to halt the frantic monologue of your fears, cease the desperate pleading, and suspend your endless search for a sign in the static of the world. Do you not understand? I have been trying to answer you, but the noise of your own panic is drowning me out. You are searching for a hurricane as proof of my power, while I am speaking to you in the gentle rain that nourishes the earth. You are waiting for an earthquake to validate my presence, while I am the stillness that keeps the ground beneath your feet from splitting apart. You are demanding a sign written in fire across the sky, while I am the quiet warmth of the sun on your face. So, I implore you, grant me this. Grant me this one moment of pure, untroubled silence. Take a breath that fills your lungs and let it out slowly. Still your mind and listen, not with your ears, but with the deepest part of your being. Because what I am about to tell you is not merely a message, it is a crossroads for your soul. It is a choice between two entirely different ways of existing, and the profound, unshakable peace you have been chasing your entire life, perhaps life itself, depends on what you hear in this quiet, do not turn away. This is the conversation your spirit has been crying out for. The house on the sand and the thirst for signs. You have spent so many of your days and far too many of your nights living in the agonizing suspense of waiting. You scan the horizon of your life like a shipwrecked sailor, desperate for the sight of a passing ship. Father, you whisper into the darkness, just give me one clear sign, a definitive, undeniable, irrefutable sign, and I promise I will trust you completely. Show me the way, and I will walk it without hesitation. You look for my guidance in the random patterns of tea leaves, in the flight of a bird, in the lyrics of a song that play on the radio at just the right moment. You try to assemble a divine roadmap from the scattered debris of coincidence. I understand this thirst, my child. I see the depths of it. In a world of chaos and uncertainty, the desire to cling to something tangible, to a piece of concrete evidence, feels like the most logical thing in the world. You believe with all your heart that if you could just possess that one sign, your fears would evaporate, your doubts would be silenced, and you could finally stride forward with the confidence of a king. But let me speak to you now, as a father who loves you beyond your comprehension and who sees the beginning from the end. Let me tell you a foundational truth. A faith that is built upon the foundation of external signs is a house built upon the sand. Oh, it can be a beautiful house, to be sure. It can look strong and impressive when the sun is shining and the sea is calm. But when the storms of life begin to howl, and they will, my child, they always do when loss, disappointment, betrayal, or physical pain come crashing down upon you, what will become of that house? When the sky remains stubbornly silent and no convenient miracles appear to comfort you, that foundation of sand will begin to shift and erode. Your faith will tremble and collapse, not because I have abandoned you, but because it was never truly built on me in the first place. It was built on the fickle, unreliable evidence you demanded from me. You see, the constant search for signs is not, as you might believe, an act of faith. It is an act of fear disguised as faith. It stems from the hidden, aching belief that my love is conditional, that my guidance is a prize to be won by solving a cosmic riddle. It implies that I am a trickster god, hiding my will behind a veil of ambiguity. No, my beloved, I am not a riddler, I am a father. My love is not a reward. It is the very air you breathe. My guidance is not a treasure to be hunted. It is a gift, freely and constantly given. Therefore, I love you far too much to allow you to continue building your life on such fragile ground. I will not answer your plea for a dazzling sign, not because I do not hear you, but precisely because I do. To give you what you ask for would be to harm you in the long run. It would turn you into a spiritual thrill seeker, forever needing a bigger, more dramatic fix to sustain your belief. It would cripple your ability to develop the most precious and powerful asset you can possibly possess, a mature, resilient, and weatherproof faith that is utterly independent of external circumstances. That is the house I want to build with you, a fortress on the bedrock of unshakable trust. The king's gift and the true cost of a miracle. Allow me to tell you a story, a parable to lodge deep within your heart. Once, in a kingdom of great beauty and wisdom, there lived a king who was as kind as he was powerful. As his 2 sons approached manhood, he knew he must give them a gift to guide them through the journey of life. He called his eldest son before him and said, "My son, I offer you a choice. Before you are 2 gifts. The first is the most detailed map ever created. It shows the precise path to a legendary treasure hidden on the far side of the Great Wailing Mountains. Every road, every turn, every hidden danger, and every safe resting place is marked upon it with perfect accuracy. The second gift is my own personal compass. It does not show a path to any single destination, but it possesses a singular, magical quality. Its needle will always, under any circumstances, point toward the true north." The eldest son, full of the impatient ambition of youth, did not hesitate. "A map, the treasure," he exclaimed. "With this, I will have all the answers laid out before me. I cannot fail." He snatched the map and set off with immense confidence, dreaming of the riches that awaited him. For a time, the map served him well, but years passed, and a great earthquake shook the kingdom to its core. The landscape was irrevocably altered. Rivers changed their course, ancient forests were flattened, and new mountains rose where once there were plains. The once perfect map became worse than useless. It became a deadly deception, leading him down paths that no longer existed and into dangers that were not marked. The prince became lost, bitter, and utterly disillusioned, his treasure map a worthless, mocking piece of parchment. The king then called his younger son and offered him the same choice. The younger son, more thoughtful and humble, considered the gifts for a long moment. Finally, he bowed his head and said, "Father, landscapes may crumble and roads may vanish, but the true north is eternal. I will take your compass." The younger son set out with no clear route, only a constant, reliable direction. His journey was far more challenging than his brother's. He had to forge his own trails, learn to read the stars, and listen to the whispers of the wind. He stumbled, he fell, he made mistakes. But with every challenge, he grew wiser, stronger, and more attuned to the world around him. He was never truly lost, because he always knew which way was north. In the end, he not only discovered many unexpected treasures along his way, friendship, wisdom, courage, but he himself became a man worthy of a kingdom, a wise and steadfast leader. My child, the signs you plead for are the elder son's map. They seem so alluring, so promising, a guarantee of an easy and risk-free path, but life, like that kingdom, is in constant flux. The sign that points you to a perfect job today may lead to a dead end in 5 years when the industry changes. The miracle that brings you a relationship is only the starting point. The relationship itself must be navigated daily with the compass of love, forgiveness, and unwavering commitment. not by reminiscing about a single past event. The guidance I offer you is the King's compass. It is my spirit indwelling within you. It is the voice of truth in your conscience, the pull of love in your heart. It doesn't give you a detailed itinerary for your life, but it always points you toward the true north of your purpose, toward integrity, toward compassion, toward me. To rely on external signs is to choose to be the elder son, forever dependent on a changing world. To learn to use your inner compass is to become the younger son, to become free, resilient, and truly wise. That is the gift I long to give you. I will not insult your magnificent potential by handing you a mere map when I can give you the power to navigate the entire cosmos. The symphony of silence and the language of my presence. But how? Your heart cries out. How can I hear your voice? How do I distinguish it from the 1,000 other voices in my head, the voice of fear, the voice of ego, the voice of the world? It is the most vital question you can ask, and the answer lies in a place the modern world has all but abandoned, the sacred space of silence. Your world is a symphony of chaos. The blare of traffic, the incessant ping of notifications, the angry shouting of news pundits, the seductive whisper of advertisements, and loudest of all, the relentless, chattering monologue of your own anxious thoughts. You live inside a perpetual storm of noise, and in the midst of this storm, you expect me to shout louder than the wind to get your attention. But that is not my way, my child. I do not compete with chaos. I am the eye of the storm. I am the profound peace at the very center of the noise. My voice is not a thunderclap from the heavens. It is the stillness that follows a heartfelt question. It is the inexplicable sense of peace that settles over you after you've wept your heart out. It is the sudden, clear insight that arrives not when you are striving, but when you have finally surrendered. It is the quiet, persistent nudge toward an act of kindness you hadn't planned. It is the stubborn flicker of hope that refuses to be extinguished in your darkest hour. It is the warmth of belonging you feel when you look at a majestic sunset. Think of my presence not as a single event, but as a constant, underlying frequency. The world blasts its music on thousands of competing channels, all static and distortion. My voice is the pure, resonant hum of the universe beneath it all. To hear it, you must intentionally turn down the volume of the world. You must create moments of deliberate quiet. This doesn't necessarily mean sitting in a silent room for hours, though that can help. It means silencing the inner noise. It means choosing, for 5 minutes, not to replay your worries. It means taking a walk without your phone, focusing only on the feeling of your feet on the ground and the air in your lungs. It means looking at another person and truly seeing them without judgment or agenda. In these moments of created stillness, you begin to attune your soul to my frequency. You start to recognize my language. My language is not always words. Often, it is a feeling of deep rightness, a sense of coming home. It is the strength that flows into you when you feel you have none left. It is the wisdom that allows you to forgive someone you thought you would hate forever. It is the sudden courage to speak a truth you've been afraid to voice. Look back on your life, not for the spectacular signs, but for the quiet evidence of my presence. Remember that time you were about to make a terrible decision, and a strange, inexplicable hesitation stopped you. That was me. Remember that time you felt completely alone, and a memory of a loved one or a moment of past joy filled you with enough warmth to get through the night. That was me. Remember that time you gave to someone in need, even when you had little yourself, and you felt a sense of richness that had nothing to do with money, that, my beloved, was me. My voice, my presence, has been the golden thread weaving through the entire tapestry of your life. You have not been alone. You have simply been listening for a shout while I have been speaking to you in the language of love itself, a language that is best heard in the quiet of a surrendered heart. The sculptor's hand and the sacred purpose of your scars. There is a question that haunts you, I know. It rises in the lonely hours of the night, a painful, piercing whisper. If you love me, why is my life so hard? If you are good, why do I suffer? If you are guiding me, why does my path lead through valleys of such deep pain and shadow? It is the ancient, agonizing question of a suffering heart, and you deserve an honest answer. Imagine a master sculptor, the greatest the world has ever known. He is given a block of raw, unformed marble. To the untrained eye, it is just a rock flawed, jagged, and unremarkable. But the sculptor, with his master's vision, does not see a rock. He sees the angel trapped within it. He sees the magnificent form of beauty, strength, and grace that is waiting to be liberated. So he picks up his hammer and his chisel. The work begins. And the work is violent, it is loud. With every strike of the hammer, pieces of the marble are chipped away, broken off, and cast aside. If the marble could feel, it would surely cry out in agony. Why are you doing this to me? You are breaking me. You are destroying me. The marble would feel only the pain of the blow, the trauma of being diminished, the loss of its parts. It cannot comprehend the sculptor's vision. It cannot see the emerging shape of the wing, the gentle curve of the face, the powerful form of the body. It knows only the hammer and the chisel. My child, you are that block of marble, and I am the sculptor. The hardships of your life, the heartbreaks, the failures, the illnesses, the losses, are my hammer and my chisel. I know they hurt. I know it feels like you are being broken, diminished, and destroyed. From your perspective, you can only feel the pain of the chipping away. You cannot yet see the magnificent angel I am liberating from within, the raw stone of your being. Every piece I chip away is a piece of your ego, your pride, your fear, your self-reliance that stands in the way of your true divine self. The process is painful, but it is not punitive. It is creative. It is the work of love. I do not send suffering, for I am the source of all that is good. But I do use the suffering that is an inevitable part of a broken world. I redeem it. I transform it. The betrayal that shattered your heart taught you the true meaning of loyalty and gave you a compassion for others who have been wounded. The failure that humbled you to your knees stripped you of your pride and taught you to rely on a strength greater than your own. The illness that ravaged your body taught you the preciousness of each breath and the true meaning of resilience. Your scars are not signs of your damage. They are the marks of the sculptor's hand, proof that you are a work in progress, a masterpiece being formed. Look at those I have used most mightily throughout history. Did Moses have an easy life before he led his people to freedom? He was a murderer and an exile, broken in the desert for 40 years until he was humble enough to be used. Did David live a life of comfort before he became king? He was hunted like an animal, lived in caves, and faced death daily. Did my own son, the perfect expression of my heart, escape this process? He was called a blasphemer, abandoned by his friends, and broken upon a cross. I am not a distant God who protects his favorites from all harm. I am a present father who walks through the fire with his children, using the very flames to purify and strengthen them. So when you find yourself in the midst of the sculptor's work, do not despair. Do not believe you have been abandoned. Instead, try to whisper through the pain, "The sculptor is at work, an angel is being born." Trust the process. Trust the hand that holds the chisel. For the form that is emerging from within you is more beautiful and glorious than you can possibly imagine. The seed in the darkness and the logic of unseen growth. Let us speak of faith. It is a word you use often, but I want to dismantle it and rebuild it for you so you understand its true mechanics, its divine logic. The world has taught you that faith is a blind leap, an irrational hope against all evidence. This is a lie. Faith is not blind. It is a different way of seeing. Consider the humble seed. Within its tiny, hard shell, it contains the blueprint for a mighty oak tree. It holds the promise of a vast root system, a powerful trunk, and a canopy of leaves that can touch the sky. But for this promise to be realized, what must happen? The seed must be buried. It must be surrendered to the cold, dark, and lonely earth. It must allow its own hard shell to break, to die to what it was, in order to become what it is destined to be. Now imagine if that seed could think. What if, as it lay in the darkness, it began to demand signs? I will not sprout until I can see the sun. I refuse to send down a root until I have proof that there is water below. I will not break my shell until I am guaranteed a long life, free from storms and drought. What would happen to that seed? It would remain a seed. It would sit in the darkness, hard, intact, and full of unfulfilled potential, until it eventually rotted away. Its refusal to trust the unseen process would be its own death sentence. Your journey of faith, my child, is the journey of that seed. The moments of darkness, of silence, of uncertainty in your life are the rich soil in which your spirit is meant to grow. Your ego, your need for control, your demand for guarantees, that is the hard shell that must be broken. You must be willing to send roots down into the unknown, trusting that I am the living water that will sustain you. You must be willing to push a tender green shoot up toward a sky you cannot yet see, trusting that I am the light that awaits you. Faith is not an irrational denial of reality. It is a profound trust in a deeper reality. It is the logic of the seed. It is the understanding that growth requires a period of unseen development. The most important work is almost always done in the dark. While you are feeling lost, forgotten, or stagnant, your spiritual roots may be spreading wider and deeper than ever before, anchoring you for the growth that is to come. Inside you, there is a constant dialogue. There is the voice of your fear self, which is the voice of the hard shell. It says, "Be careful. Don't risk it. Protect yourself. Demand proof. Stay where it's safe." Then there is the voice of your faith self, which is the voice of the blueprint within. It whispers, "Trust, surrender, let go, break open, become." The entire journey of your life is about choosing which voice to listen to, which voice to nourish. Every time you choose to act in love when you are afraid, you are nourishing your faith self. Every time you choose to forgive when your ego wants revenge, you are breaking the shell. Every time you choose to be generous when you feel you have little, you are sending down a root. Every time you take a small step forward in obedience without knowing the full outcome, you are pushing a shoot toward the light. Do not curse the darkness. Do not resent the soil. They are essential for your becoming. The world may praise the great tree, admiring its strength and beauty, but the wise gardener knows the real miracle happened in secret, underground, in an act of blind, beautiful, and courageous trust. You are in the process of that miracle right now. Trust the unseen work, The spring is coming, the unsetting sun and the myth of my absence. There is a feeling that can ambush you, a cold dread that is more terrifying than any external enemy. It is the feeling of being utterly alone. It is the belief that I have withdrawn my presence, that your prayers are hitting a ceiling of brass, that you have been forgotten, abandoned to face the void by yourself. This feeling, my child, is the greatest lie the darkness will ever tell you, and you must arm yourself against it with the truth. Think of the Sunday. It is the source of light, warmth, and life for your world. Its presence is constant, immense, and unwavering. Now, think of a cloudy day. The sky is gray and gloomy. The light is dim. The air is chilled. You cannot see the Sunday. You cannot feel its direct warmth upon your skin. From your limited perspective on the ground, it might feel as though the sun has weakened or perhaps even disappeared. But has it? Has the sun moved? Has it ceased to burn with its magnificent fire? Of course not. It is exactly where it has always been, blazing with a power you can barely conceive of. The only thing that has changed is that something temporary, a cloud of water vapor, has passed between you and it, obscuring your view. Your perception of its absence does not alter the reality of its constant presence. I, my child, am the Sunday presence. My presence in your life and in the universe is the one great, unwavering constant. The love, power, and light that emanate from me are ceaseless. The doubts, fears, sorrows, and worldly distractions that fill your mind are the clouds. They drift in, they block your view, they make you feel cold and alone, and they can temporarily obscure your perception of me. But they do not and cannot ever change the fact of my presence. I have not gone anywhere. I am not hiding. I have not forgotten you. Your task is not to make me appear, but to trust that I am there, even when the clouds are thick. Faith is the conviction that the sun is still shining, even on the grayest of days. It is choosing to live by the reality of my presence, not by the fleeting perception of my absence. When that feeling of abandonment comes, and it will, you must recognize it for what it is, a cloud. Do not treat it as a weather report for reality. Acknowledge it, say, "Ah, here is the cloud of doubt," or "I see the cloud of sorrow is passing over." But then, immediately, you must anchor yourself in the truth that lies beyond the cloud. You do this by remembering. Remember the times you have felt my warmth. Remember the promises I have made. Remember that I have pledged, I will never leave you nor forsake you. This promise is not contingent on your feelings. It is not voided by your doubts. It is an eternal, unshakable fact, as real as the sun in the sky. Your journey is not about living a cloudless life. That is impossible in this world. Your journey is about becoming a person who knows, with every fiber of their being, that the sun is always there. The peace I offer you is not the absence of clouds, but the unshakable peace of knowing the Sunday. This peace allows you to walk through the cloudy days without despair, knowing that the clouds are temporary but the light is eternal. So when the chill of loneliness settles upon you, do not panic. Do not conclude you are alone. Wrap yourself in the warm blanket of my promises. Remind yourself that your feelings are like the weather, they change. But I am like the sun, I do not. You are not forgotten. You are seen. You are known. You are held, always. The Pilgrims Path and the journey as the destination. You have been conditioned to think of life as a series of destinations to be reached. Get the degree, get the job, get the spouse, get the house, get the promotion. And in your spiritual life, you have applied the same logic. You are on a journey to find the answer, to reach a state of enlightenment, to receive the great sign that will signify your arrival. You are so focused on the destination that you have failed to realize a profound truth. The journey is the destination. The path itself is the purpose. Let me tell you of a pilgrim. He had spent his entire life hearing tales of a sacred hidden shrine atop the highest mountain, a place where it was said one could hear my voice as clear as a bell. He believed that if he could just reach this shrine, all his questions would be answered, and his soul would find perfect peace. He sold all he had and began the long, arduous trek. Along the way, he came upon a village where a family's home had burned down. Though he was on a holy mission, his heart was moved. He stopped for a week, helping them rebuild their house with his own hands. Further on, he found an old woman who had fallen and broken her leg. He could have passed by, but instead, he fashioned a stretcher and carried her for 3 days to the next town where she could be cared for. He encountered a lost child crying by the side of the road and spent a day walking in the wrong direction to reunite the child with her parents. Each act of kindness delayed him. His supplies dwindled, his body grew tired. Finally, months behind schedule, he arrived at the base of the great mountain, only to find the path to the shrine was closed for the winter. He was devastated. He had failed. He collapsed in despair, believing his entire life's quest was for nothing. As he sat weeping, an old, wizened monk from a nearby monastery approached him. "Why do you weep, pilgrim?" the monk asked. The pilgrim poured out his story, his voice thick with failure. "I sought the holy shrine to hear God's voice, but I was delayed by the needs of others, and now the path is closed. I have failed." The old monk smiled, his eyes twinkling with a deep wisdom. "My son," he said gently, "you did not fail. You believe God's voice is a sound to be heard only in a specific location, but God's voice is also an action to be performed. When you rebuilt that family's home, you were not delayed on your journey. You were the hands of God. That was the shrine. When you carried that old woman, you were not diverted from your path. You were the feet of God. That was the shrine. When you comforted that lost child, you were not wasting time. You were the heart of God. That was the shrine. You came seeking a place to hear my voice, but I sent you on a journey to become my voice." The shrine was not at the top of the mountain. The shrine was the path itself. My child, you are that pilgrim. You are so anxious about finding a specific sign, reaching a specific destination, that you are missing the sacredness of your own footsteps. You think the challenges, the delays, and the people you meet are distractions from your real purpose. They are not distractions, they are your purpose. The lesson you learn when you are patient with a difficult coworker, that is the sign. The strength you discover when you overcome a personal struggle, that is the miracle. The love you show to a person who doesn't deserve it, that is the clearest evidence of my presence in your life. Stop trying to rush through your life to get to the good part. This, right now, is the good part. This messy, beautiful, painful, glorious journey is the point. Your experiences are the curriculum. Your relationships are the assignments. Your challenges are the final exams. The journey itself is the sign you've been looking for. Live it fully. Be present to it. For it is in the walking, not the arriving, that you will truly find me. The lighthouse in the storm and your unspoken mission. Now we must speak of your mission, for your inner transformation has an outer purpose. You have not been forged in the fire, sculpted by the hammer, and guided by the compass merely for your own benefit. You are being prepared for a great work. Look at the world around you. Do you see it? A sea of humanity, tossed about by the violent waves of fear, confusion, anger, and despair. Voices shout from every direction, each claiming to have the truth, each pulling people toward the dangerous rocks of ideology or the shallow harbors of temporary pleasure. People are navigating their lives in a perpetual storm, under a starless sky, with no sense of direction. They are exhausted, they are frightened, and they are drowning in the noise. In the midst of this chaotic sea, on a rocky, unassuming shore, stands a lighthouse. The lighthouse does not compete with the storm. It does not shout at the waves. It does not fire cannons to get the attention of the ships. It does not judge the ships for getting lost in the first place. It does only one thing, and it does it with unwavering, silent consistency. It shines. It shines its light not for its own glory, but for the sake of those lost in the darkness. Its simple, steady presence cuts through the storm, offering a point of reference, a beacon of hope, a guide toward a safe harbor. Some ships will see the light and chart a new course toward it. Others, blinded by the storm or stubbornly committed to their own disastrous path, will ignore it and sail on toward the rocks. The lighthouse does not change its shining based on how many ships respond. Its mission is not to force the ships to safety. Its mission is simply to be a light. My child, you are that lighthouse. Your mission in this world is not to argue people into faith. It is not to condemn them for being lost. It is not to perform dazzling miracles to prove my existence. Your mission is simpler and far more profound. Your mission is to shine. How do you shine? You shine by living the truths we have spoken of. You shine with the light of unshakable peace when the world is in a panic. You shine with the light of radical generosity when the world is clutching its possessions. You shine with the light of profound forgiveness when the world is screaming for revenge. You shine with the light of quiet, confident faith when the world is demanding signs and wonders. You shine by being a person of integrity, compassion, and unwavering hope. Your life, lived in quiet communion with me, becomes the beacon. People, weary from the storm, will see the steady light of your life and be drawn to it. They will not ask you for theological arguments. They will ask you, how can you be so calm when everything is falling apart? They will not want a lecture. They will want to know the source of the light that shines from within you. And then, you will not have to give them a speech. You will simply tell them your story. You will tell them about the sculptor. You will tell them about the compass. You will tell them about the lighthouse. Do not underestimate the power of your quiet shining. A single candle can illuminate a vast darkness. A single life lived in authentic faith can be a beacon of hope for hundreds of souls. This is the great work you were created for. It does not require you to be perfect or famous or eloquent. It only requires you to be connected to me, the source of your light, and to have the courage to let that light shine, unfiltered by fear or the need for approval. The world is dark, my beloved, and the storm is raging. It is time to shine. Your divine equipment and the strength in your wounds. Perhaps as you hear this call to be a lighthouse, a familiar voice of doubt whispers in your ear, "Who? Me? I am not strong enough. I am not good enough. I am too broken, too flawed." You must have the wrong person. This feeling of inadequacy is one of the enemy's most effective weapons because it seems so humble, so reasonable. But it is a false humility that denies the power of the one who created you. When I chose you for your mission, I was not blind to your flaws. In fact, I have factored them into my plan. I did not choose you in spite of your weaknesses. In many ways, I chose you because of them. For it is in the places where you are weakest that my strength has the greatest opportunity to be displayed. You look at your life and you see a collection of imperfections. I look at your life and I see a custom-built toolkit, divinely designed for the specific work I have for you. That sensitivity you sometimes curse as a weakness, that tendency to feel things so deeply, it is not a flaw. It is the divinely installed antenna that allows you to feel the pain of others, to practice true empathy. It is your tool for compassion. That stubborn streak you have, that refusal to give up even when it's logical, you see it as a fault. I see it as the root of perseverance, the anchor of loyalty that will keep you steady when others are swept away. It is your tool for faithfulness. That painful past you carry, the wounds and scars that you try to hide, you see them as sources of shame. I see them as the credentials that qualify you to minister to other wounded people. Your scars prove that healing is possible. You cannot guide someone out of a valley you have never walked through yourself. Your wounds are your tools for healing others. That feeling of not quite fitting in, of always being a bit of an outsider, you see it as loneliness. I see it as the freedom from the need for the world's approval, which allows you to speak the truth when others are silent. It is your tool for courage. I have not sent you into this mission empty-handed. I have endowed you with unique gifts, passions, and experiences that are perfectly suited for the people I want you to reach and the tasks I want you to accomplish. Stop comparing your toolkit to someone else's. You may admire someone's mighty hammer, but if I have given you a fine-tipped paintbrush, it is because your mission requires a delicate touch, not brute force. And in those moments when you feel utterly empty, when your own strength fails completely, that is when the true miracle happens. For when you finally reach the end of your own resources and cry out, "I can't do this," my answer is always the same. I know, but I can. My power does not just supplement your strength, it is made perfect in your weakness. It is when you are most aware of your inability that you are most open to my ability. Your confession of weakness is the very act that unlocks my infinite strength within you. So do not fear your inadequacy. Embrace it as the empty space that I am eager to fill. You are not called to be a full reservoir. You are called to be a hollow channel through which my living water can flow. Your part is to remain open, humble, and willing. My part is to provide the power, the wisdom, and the results. You are equipped. You are chosen. You are more than enough, because I am more than enough within you. The unwavering promise and the final, simple choice. And so we arrive back at the beginning, at this quiet moment between us. We have journeyed through the desert of signs, stood before the sculptor's stone, walked with the pilgrim, and stood watch in the lighthouse. Now everything condenses down to a single, simple, and eternal choice that you must make, not just once, but every day, every moment. Will you live your life by sight or by faith? To live by sight is to choose the elder son's map. It is to build your house on the sand of circumstances. It is to demand that I prove myself to you according to your terms, to trust only what you can measure, touch, and understand. It is a life of constant anxiety, of frantic searching, a life spent at the mercy of the changing tides of the world. To live by faith is to choose the Father's compass. It is to build your house on the bedrock of my character. It is to trust in my goodness even when your life is not good. It is to believe in my presence even when you feel alone. It is to walk forward with courage, your hand in mine, knowing that the guide is more important than the map. It is a life of profound peace, of steady purpose, a life that is anchored in the eternal, unshaken by the temporary. The world will not understand this choice. It will call you foolish. It will mock your trust. It will tempt you daily to return to the logic of sight, and you will be tempted. The path of faith is not the easy path, but it is the only path that leads to true life. My promise to you is not a promise of a life free from storms. It is the promise that I will be with you in every storm. My promise is not that you will never feel pain. It is the promise that I will use that pain to make you into someone beautiful and strong. My promise is not that you will have all the answers. It is the promise that you will always have me, and I am the answer to every question your heart could ever ask. I have set a great purpose before you. I have equipped you for the journey. I have given you my unwavering presence as your constant companion. The path unfolds before you, one step at a time, leading toward a destiny more glorious than you can imagine. Let go of the need to see. Open the hands of your heart and receive the gift of trust. Take the next step. I am here. I will not let you fall. I will guide you home. Amen.